very glad you're here with us today. So tell us a little about the Building Congress.
Thank you, Lisa. Of course, I wish we were having an espresso in the taverna.
Me too.
But the Zoom will have to do until September. I'm excited to be back in the fall. Look, it's interesting. The Building Congress is such a fascinating organization because it actually touches the lives of every New Yorker. And people say, well, how, why? It's very simple. Our members build the biggest, boldest projects in New York. So if you've taken a ride on the 2nd Avenue subway, the phase 1 on the Upper East Side, our members built it. If you've gone to LaGuardia and you're watching the transformation there, our members built it. The Kosciuszko Bridge that connects Brooklyn and Queens, members built it. The new Goethals Bridge, the new Mario M. Cuomo Bridge, cultural facilities throughout the city, hospitals, universities, arenas, stadiums, roadwork, tunnels, anything you really think about. Tall buildings, Hudson Yards, Brookfield Place. I mean, I can go on and on. The World Trade Center. Our members, and generally our board members, who are owners or CEOs of some of the largest corporations in the building world, have either built it, designed it, engineered it, et cetera. So we really touch the lives of every New Yorker in a different way. I like to say, if you go into an apartment building, we probably built it. If your kids go to a school, our members built it. If you take a subway, et cetera. So it's an exciting time. And when you look at the recovery post-COVID and with all the social justice issues that we're facing, it's always the building industry that helps get New York and really the nation back going, because we're generally the front line. So once whatever issue we're dealing with calms a little bit, so COVID, obviously, we started phase 1 a few weeks ago, it's the construction industry that really leads the way with it. So it was built, it was an engineering marvel for its time. It was only built in the 40s, I think. And, instead of cutting through Brooklyn Heights and downtown Brooklyn, what it did was go around. And it created this decking that, again, was ahead of its time. And then at the top of the decking, put an iconic New York feature called the Promenade, Brooklyn Heights Promenade, which, by the way, I think any New Yorker will agree, you cannot live today without that promenade. You have to really reimagine the entire BQE, from Staten Island all the way to the Bronx. So when you get off the Verrazano Bridge until you get on the Triborough Bridge, what does that roadway in its entirety look like? And we've challenged the city and the state to come up with a plan that gives back waterfront to communities, that helps pollution, helps the environment, does it in a green way, gets trucks off the road, and makes it easier to travel between these places, which right now, as you can imagine, is not always easy. If today you were creating a road, you would never create the BQE because it was pulled together from very different. So there was a road in Sunset Park, and there was the triple cantilever. It was all these pieces and they just threw it together. It can't work that way. So we want to see innovation, maybe tunnels, maybe new bridges, maybe different ideas on how to move people. But the time has come now. We're living in a different era where people want nature. They want to be, communities want to be close to their waterfront again. We don't want highways on waterfront. So we have a lot of work to do, but I think our report was very well received because we thought a little bigger than just a mile and a half.
Well, I think that's great. And I think also a lot of what you said resonates well beyond the borough of Brooklyn, because I think we do live in an era where we want people to live in close proximity to open space. Right. And I think if COVID has taught us anything, parks can become overwhelmed very quickly when suddenly there's a real need to accommodate a population that's sheltering in place, as we've all been doing for the last 3 months. And so smaller green spaces like the promenade that serve a specific community also take pressure off of bigger parks.
Absolutely.
And I think, we've all seen in the last decade as cities have tried to green themselves, the very important role open space plays. So, I think that this BQE opportunity, as you say, is not just about the promenade and the triple decker. It's really about how we envision our city going forward.
And I think that's key. How do we envision New York City? What do we envision? Well, I'll give you one example. So we're a city built on water, right? Everything around us is water. So we said, well, if you live in Staten Island, for example, and you work downtown Brooklyn, the only way to get there is to get in your car or take a ferry to Lower Manhattan, get on a subway. I mean, it's crazy. But why not start up ferry service between Staten Island and downtown Brooklyn? If you're really creating downtown Brooklyn as a center, to equal Midtown and Lower Manhattan, well, then we should have other forms of transportation. We were a city that was built to get people from 4 boroughs into 1 borough. Well, jobs don't work that way anymore. Big job growth, and I'll tell you, even post-COVID, we're going to see it more and more. Not everybody needs to leave their home in one of the boroughs to go into the central business district in Manhattan. We've got plenty of office space in Brooklyn and Queens. The Bronx is building up. So how do we reconnect the boroughs without having to go to Manhattan?
Is there anything that you're especially looking forward to when we fully reopen?
Look, to me, having an organization like Columbus Citizens helps me to continue to be proud of my Italian heritage. And by the way, I think every group is proud of their heritage. And it's not us or you, right? Everyone should have a place where they could celebrate their heritage. I'm a big fan of the parade. I'm a big fan of the things that you do at the townhouse. I hosted my staff Christmas party there last year. They had a great time. My daughter's 5. She reminds me that every year after we go see the Christmas show and the tree, we have to go to dinner at Daddy's club. It's all dressed up, and she wants to see Romeo. So, she's 5 years old and she's already looking forward to seeing Romeo and everybody there. So it's a wonderful experience. It's great people. It's a place where you feel at home, and I think that's the most important.
Well, that sounds like the perfect note to end our conversation. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you and your daughter.
Yes, you will in a few months. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.